Hi, in this tutorial we will demonstrate how to integrate QLM with QuickBooks Desktop. The QLM QuickBooks integration module automatically performs 3 tasks when an invoice is paid in QuickBooks. First, it publishes the customer's contact information to the QLM database. Then it creates license keys based on the items in the invoice. And finally, it emails the license keys to the customer. Let's see how to configure QuickBooks to integrate with QLM. Before proceeding, make sure that your QuickBooks application is closed. After you install QLM on your system, locate the QLM QuickBooks Service folder in the QLM installation folder. In this folder, you will find a PDF file that contains detailed configuration instructions. Let's review the requirements before proceeding. First, you must install the QuickBooks API. The QuickBooks API installer is called qbfc13_0installer.exe. You should be able to locate this installer on QuickBooks website. Once you've installed the QuickBooks API, you must register the QLM QuickBooks service as follows. Open a command prompt as administrator. Go to the QuickBooks folder and type the following command: QLM QuickBooks Service.exe-regserver. This will register the service. Then type QLM QuickBooks Service.exe-d. This will register QLM to be notified on certain events. Once the QLM service is registered, you can review the configuration file with your favorite editor. And you can modify the URL of the QLM license server to point to your own license server. By default, the config file connects to the demo license server. Now let's open QuickBooks. The first time QuickBooks opens your company file, you'll receive a notification to allow the QLM module to access your company file. Select Yes Always, allow access even if QuickBooks is not running. Do not check Allow this application to access personal data. Click Continue, click Yes, then click Done. Now we need to map the QuickBooks items to the corresponding QLM products. This is done by creating custom QLM server properties. For example, let's review the mapping of the QuickBooks item QLM demo product. We will now map this item to a QLM product. In the QLM Management Console, go to Manage Keys, Sites, then Server Properties. We've already created the QLM demo product mapping by clicking the plus button and by setting the name of the custom server property to the same name as the QuickBooks item and setting the value to the following. This mapping specifies the following information: the ID of the product, the major version of your product, the minor version of your product, the license model to set, in this case we're setting a permanent license, the features to enable, the QLM engine version, it should be 5.0.00, and finally the email template to use when sending the email to the customer. Once the mapping is done, we must enable the QuickBooks integration module in the QLM license server. Go to Third-Party Extensions, select QuickBooks, and enable the extension. We can now create an invoice and test it in QuickBooks. Click Create Invoice, select a customer, pick an item, then save and close. When the payment is received, click Receive Payment, select a customer, check that the payment is received, click Save and Close. Let's now go back to QLM and verify if a license was created. Refresh the view to see newly created licenses. We see that a new license was created for a user called Bob Smith. If we go to the Manage Customers tab, we'll find that a new user, Bob Smith, was created and all his contact information was transferred to QLM. Additionally, an email was sent to Bob Smith with information about his order, including the license key. The content of the email is fully configurable. The email template that we had selected is called New Order. You can select any other email template or create your own. By default, the QLM QuickBooks module will process all items in the company file. You can modify this behavior by modifying the Process QLM Items Only setting in the configuration file. By setting this property to true, QLM will only process items that have a QuickBooks custom field called QLM. Let's see how to define a custom field for our item in QuickBooks. Locate the item, then click Custom Fields. Click Define Fields. Set the label to QLM and check Use. Set the value of the QLM field to 1. Now the QLM QuickBooks module will process this item, but other items that do not have the QLM custom field will be skipped. This completes the QLM QuickBooks tutorial. Thank you.